Hey everyone, I'm Ian Douglas, the author of the website techinterview.guide. I do live streams every Sunday and Thursday at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern about topics relevant to interview preparation for the tech industry. I occasionally record longer Q&A sessions, and I've started to break those into smaller videos to post. And there'll be information at the end of this video about how to get in contact with me if you have additional questions. Let's get to it. This is a common question that I get quite a bit. What are some tips for, iOS, web, backend, full stack, front end kind of developer searching for their first job? Well, that's why my whole channel exists. I love coming up with ideas on tips and things like that to help people get that first job. Getting the first job in tech is really hard, and it's very time consuming, and it takes more effort than I think people really realize. And so there are a lot of folks that, in the community, myself, there's Jonan, Dan Moore, who I had on the show before, Martin McGovern, who runs careertherapy.com, Aaron Mullenix, who took a bit of a break, but he's going to be back online pretty soon. Like, we're all here to help people. And so there are a lot of people, there are a lot of communities out there that are willing to help you with tips. So generalizing an answer around, like, what are some tips to go get that first job? It's a little bit hard to answer this specifically because it covers so many different avenues, but I would say networking is probably the number one way that you're going to get that first job. I think that being able to do good research on a company, find people in that company that are interesting to you, that are going to be like peer level developers, and then maybe find like a senior level developer that you can reach out to and connect with, and stay in contact with them as you're working on different kinds of projects. Bring them up to speed on the kinds of things that you're learning, the kinds of things that are interesting to you, and keep reiterating like why you're really interested in their company. And then when you actually apply for a job there, reach back out to those people and say, hey, I've applied for a job at your company. I'd really love to work with you. Is there any possibility that you can go talk to HR and see if they got my application? At that point, you've already applied, and so they're just confirming with HR that they got your resume, maybe a cover letter, things like that. But I would say the number one tip is probably networking. You're probably going to find your first job through networking a lot faster than just blind applying to a bunch of jobs. Now, we had Jen on the show a couple of weeks ago, and Jen put some profiles on AngelList, which is angel.co, and workforastartup.com. And Jen had a whole bunch of companies reach out to her, and that turned into a whole bunch of interviews, and that turned into a whole bunch of offers, which was super exciting to chat with Jen about. So you can check out the YouTube channel on that and kind of go see how we chatted about what that process was and so on. But there's I think networking is still going to be the number one way to get a job in the tech industry. From there, I think working on a variety of projects is good because it can show the kinds of things that you're interested in as a developer. But I think as you research companies and learn about companies and the kinds of things that are important to them, I think that your projects should probably start to drift closer towards what that company does. So if you're super interested in, pick an industry, cryptocurrency and financial technology, then start building a project using those tools, using blockchain and whatever. Like, build a couple of projects about that to show that, yeah, I am really interested in this, so much so I'm actually taking some time to work on a project. Now, that comes with a grain of privilege because not everybody's got free time to work on a ton of free projects all the time in their spare time. And I get that. Lately, I don't have a lot of time to work on, an ever-growing backlog of project ideas of things I would love to go build. So not everybody's got the time. If you've got family members that you're caring for, or ongoing, illness or mental health issues, whatever, not everyone's got the time to work on projects. But if you can show some progression in your learning in a particular area, so, the specific question is like iOS, web, backend, full stack. We could add front end on that as well. The general tips there are, like, if I really want to be a front end developer, I can't just say, hey, I want to be a front end developer. I know a little bit of JavaScript. I need to show a little bit of proficiency in that skill. It's not impossible to find a company who will say like, oh, you don't know anything about that? Cool, we'll hire you and we'll train you everything that you need to know. It's not impossible to find those companies, but it's a lot less likely. A lot of companies are going to want to hire people with at least a little bit of skill in that area. And so you're going to need to find some way of building up that skill a little bit. So wherever you want to take your career, this is the nice thing about the tech industry, and I've talked about this on the stream a bunch. The tech industry is really a choose your own adventure kind of book, where now you want to take your career in that direction. Now you want to take your career in this direction. Well, you get to choose that. You steer the boat. You get to take your career wherever you want to take it. The challenge there is, where do you want to take it? What do you want to learn? What do you want to practice? What do you want to exercise? How are you going to practice that and show people why you're interested in that thing? Because it's more than just saying, I want to do a thing. You need to be able to show them that you can actually do the thing in order to get the job. So those would be a couple of my tips. So number one is networking. And number two, try to find some way, somehow, to build some projects in the kinds of technologies or industries where you have interest, and kind of tying those things back together. As you're doing company research, I was actually just talking to some folks today about this. As you're doing company research, try to see if that company has an API or a library or a tool or something that you can build into your project. Because then when you apply for that job, it completely changes that narrative of your application from, hi, I'm Dota 2 and I've got these technical skills, to, hi, I'm Dota 2, I'm actually a customer of yours and I love your product so much I actually want to come be a part of your team. Now, you need to have more than just like surface level, like, oh, I built your thing into my project in an afternoon and I'm applying for a job tomorrow. Like, you need to have some proficiency in that tool in order to pull that off. But if you've got the time to build their tool into a project, or even just add it onto a project that you've already got, you don't have to start a whole new project around that tool. But if there's a way that you can just add that tool or API or library into an existing product or project that you've already built, it changes the whole introduction that you're making of yourself to that company. So those would be my top tips for that. Hey, thanks for watching. I love helping people out with interview prep, and I hope this video helped you in some way. If you found this Q&A useful, please consider subscribing. You can follow me on Twitch as well for the live stream twice a week. Check out techinterview.guide/streaming for more information. I also have a daily email series that you can subscribe to on the website. There are never any ads, and when you finish the series, I scrub your information out of my database permanently. Finally, if you have a question that you'd like answered on the stream, you can find my contact info on techinterview.guide. I prefer LinkedIn or email. If you leave your question in a YouTube comment, it might take me longer to find it, but I'll see you next time.